Come on.
Welcome to Beauties and Beasties, the independent pest podcast for the UK.
Hello. How are you all doing?
Good evening. We didn't get kicked tonight.
It is too hot for Vikings in this weather. Seriously, like I am not a happy bunny. Thanks. Way too hot already. We're going to have a heat wave over this weekend. Give up. I bet I can bear the cold better than you. Yeah. So
ease up.
Yeah. So that just basically, either of you guys actually sort of like working over the weekend, or is it shut down because of the bank holiday?
I'll be doing paperwork, but none of the guys are out. About you, Sean?
I'm doing a honeybee removal on Sunday. We were potentially doing one on Monday, but it's been cancelled. I've got jobs to do Saturday morning, afternoon. I've got my bees to do. Hopefully, if I can get through everything on Monday, I'll be able to get to the oldest boys football tournament, which is in the afternoon. So yeah, I've got a full weekend at it. Just
very quickly, do you have a BB wear suit or something similar, or have you got one of the old school heavy cottons?
No, they don't cut the mustard down. I've got BB wear suits and I've got Oz Armour suits as well.
I was about to say, because in this weather, like I couldn't imagine one of the old school sort of like heavy cotton sort of like bee suits.
What we're finding is that people who try to do bee removal are ending up in hospital because them cotton suits are all right for checking your own bees, but when something wants to get you and you're moving around, they'll get you. Like them cotton suits are not so you've got to wear like a hoodie top underneath them. We've been through all this, but you definitely need some sort of durable, breathable suit because it is horrific.
First time I wore a breathable suit, I sat on someone's deck, slid off of the deck, and a nail went right up on my ass and ripped the whole back of it up.
Oh, that is an
shredded it.
Way. Yeah, God. First time I wore one, the breeze carried on catching me out. Every time I got a breeze on my arm or anywhere like that, I was like, "Oh my God, have I got a rip?" Like panicking. I thought my suit was bust. It took so long to mentally get away from the fact that you could feel the air over your skin. It was mad, but there we go. Right. To start off with, I promised you guys I've got a bit of a game. I'd love to do this just because I think it'll be a good hoot just while we get started off. So what I want to do is for 5 minutes, I want to play the game of Would You Rather? Do we have this? So go on. It's nice and easy. I want to ask you guys a question and I want to hear from both of you which you would rather do. Okay. So start off with, would you rather do a severe cockroach infestation in a takeaway chain or do rats in a residential loft? Which would you do?
Rats in a residential loft because it's good money for us.
Yeah, rats in the residential loft.
Okay, that was easy then. Would you like to rather sort out a loft which is full of dead rodents and assorted maggots and flies, or do a bin area clear out that's absolutely hoofing with maggots?
I'll do the bin.
What was that?
Rabbits.
Rabbits? There wasn't rabbits in that. It was loft space full of rodents. Sorry, rats. Loft space full of dead rats.
I thought you said at the end of the place that was hoofing with rabbits.
Oh, maggots. I said maggots.
Oh, I heard rabbits.
So go on. Confined space full of dead rats, or one of those underground bin stores that's just fucking full of maggots.
Yeah, I'll do the bin store, I think. Loft's going to be hot on that.
Whichever one I can make more money out on them too. They're much of a much, aren't they?
Because the loft's going to be all hot and sweaty, isn't it? And sun's going to be on it this week. And
yeah, no airspace. Trying to crawl to the corners of it. Trying to fish them out of the air gap. Okay. So, fleas, like heavy infestation of fleas in a HMO, or same thing but bed bugs in bed bugs in a care home.
Bed bugs
in a care home, or fleas in an HMO.
Bed bugs in a care home, because I've done them a few times.
Go on, why? Why not the fleas?
Because you can take them.
It's an HMO, and that sounds like a shithole.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Would you rather discover a mystery smell that turns out to be a dead animal, or never find the source at all?
Oh, yeah. Find it.
Yeah, find it.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there some sort of scientific thoughts behind these?
No, I just wrote a list. I Googled a list of them earlier today, and I just sort of like picked some ones that I thought would be fun for you to sort of like have a bit of an argument over. Okay, so last two. Would you rather spend a week doing bedbug treatments, or a week at commercial premises trying to track down the source of drain flies in grotty drains?
Drain flies.
I think I'd do the bed bugs.
Go on, explain why. Knee-jerk reactions.
Just because I know what we're doing with the bed bugs, and you know that they're there, whereas you're just tracking down something that you might not find with the drain flies or be successful with.
See, we're proper. I feel like most pest controllers could tackle a bed bug infestation to some degree, but them drain fly jobs were just set up for them, and if you set up for them properly, they're a good job to have. Like if you really have good surveyors, and there's a lot of work. We've got one at the minute. That's it's a school. I spoke about it, didn't I, with the rove beetles. That's like I find that incredibly interesting. Although they've not been back in touch because they're going to do it their own way. So
their own way, which is code for hot bleach down the toilet and down the sink.
Cheap,
right? And last one, and I expect sort of like some on this. So, would you rather have the perfect tools for the job, but terrible access to where you're trying to operate, or easy access to where you're doing your job, getting there easily, but poor equipment?
Yeah, the poor equipment, getting there easy. I can make most things work in some way, shape, or form. I can. Yeah,
I'll go with that.
Is it called
Heath Robinson?
Heath Robinson stuff up. I can nail you up. So if I've got enough to get the job done, I can get it done.
You just don't like being stuck in small places.
No, I don't even mind the small places. It's just like the access. Like it just makes life difficult, isn't it? Whereas like being able to get there and Heath Robinson stuff up. Plus, I feel like if you've got the right gear, anybody could do it if they had a bit of drive. But when you don't necessarily have the best gear, you've got to know what you're doing. So I feel like I would do better than most in them situations.
Right. I think that's it. I've got a couple more, but I think we're about done with this. That was fun. That was a nice little different way to start the day. Interlude. I reckon we should have music, and we should make a feature of that, like Sophie's Choice.
Get music somewhere.
we do, don't we?
There is somewhere, yeah. Media assets. I better not. Otherwise, I might bugger something up.
Next time we'll do it. We'll put a little vote on it as well. Just see what people, other people think as well. See whether you guys are close to the mark, and I'll get some better ones for next time. Oh no, sorry. There's the one here. One last one because it falls on from last week. Would you rather a client who's overly anxious and calls you constantly for advice, or one who doesn't communicate at all and just ignores everything that you do?
I think I'd rather have the first one.
I'm getting sick of people that just left us alone to get on with it. I'd be a relatively happy bunny at the minute. Like, I can't be bothered to speak to people at the minute.
You'd rather just ignored everything that you do, just left you alone.
Oh yeah. You
can go sort out
if
later.
I could walk in a customer's house now and they didn't say anything to us, other than just like, rats on the roof, and they sat down and watched the TV and just let us get on with it, that would be bliss.
I have to say, so I was telling you guys just before this, but half my conservatory is going to have to be replaced because they installed it badly. As in, they didn't waterproof half the gutters, they didn't waterproof half the seals, and now one wall's so filled up with water, the mortar has disappeared. But it made me laugh because the two guys turned up, and as soon as I turned up, I did it. I did that thing. I floated. I stood there. I watched them. I asked questions all the way through. And the annoying thing is the second I started doing it, I was like, I know exactly what I'm doing. I know how much of a prick I'm being. I even apologized. I was just like, I know you're going to hate this, but at the same time, I want to see what's in the inside of this wall. So I floated. Does that make it, is that better or worse? Because I knew what I was doing. Is that just 100 times worse, or? No,
that's okay.
You reckon?
No, that's okay, really. Yeah. If somebody knows that they're being a pain in the ass, then that's fine.
So long as you own up to it, and so long as you
own up to it. Yeah. Just don't pretend that you don't know you're being a dick.
That's it. So anyone watching this that is not officially in pest management but likes to learn more, there is it. That's the golden rule. Ask questions, but be humble with your dickheadery. Perfect
exactly
stuff.
That.
Awesome. Right. We've got a fair few people watching tonight. That's kind of cool. Right. Should we actually do the podcast?
Come on then.
Go on if we must. What's the first one?
We've got association news.
Who went first last week?
Can't remember, mate. I don't mind. I'll go first if you like.
Yeah, let me bring my notes up.
Quite short and sweet this time. We've just been ploughing ahead. We've been making sure that there's quite a bit of training for people and that it's accessible and affordable. We've started spreading the training out for the first time. We've actually had some training down in the southwest as well, so it's getting out and around rather than everything up country for a change. We've got the close of the 5. What's that?
What's up country, Hugh?
Anything past Bristol. That Sean Muller, he lives way up. He lives right up in, I don't know, the north somewhere. He's miles away.
Headaches and nosebleeds.
We've got next Friday is the close of the 5x25 scheme. So any member that's got somebody under 25 can put their name forward to go forward and be supported to go through their level 2. So go on.
I must say, you've had a lot of uptake for that. I've been really impressed. And the big question is do you always get a big pool to pull from? Because the interesting thing is we say that young people aren't interested in our industry, and yet every time that you guys have run the 5 for 25, I don't think you've failed to get 5 for 25, have you? So
no, and we've added another round, another cohort this year. So
that shows that people are interested, doesn't it? I mean, that's really great. Yeah.
They don't all necessarily become actual pest technicians. They can become, some of them have become surveyors and done other things in the industry as well. So no, it's good. It's good. So anybody that's got somebody that they want to put forward, get in contact with the MPTA office, and they'll tell you how to put it forward. We had a board meeting this week. Just had a chat on some direction and where we're going from here. Everything was good on that. We are going forward and already started looking at Pest Tech this year, even though it's a way off yet. It's surprising how long it takes for us all to arrange it and have ideas and try to make it different. So that's already all in full swing, ready for hopefully a good event again this year. And that's my news for the month.
Awesome. I love the trade shows. I really do. They're so much fun. I don't think I've missed a Pest Tech for 10, 12 more years now. Like, it's definitely is the highlight, and also then the after dinner for sure every time. So much fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that again. Happy days. Right. Should we do some
BPCA time?
BPCA stuff. So, got my notes up here. So, BPCA Exec Board met the other week as well. So, we also were discussing a big chunk of the BPCA's future strategy. Really good discussions regarding tracking, how we track strategy delivery. A lot of what we call horizon scanning, so looking for future threats to the industry and also potential opportunities for us all as well. And a lot of reflections from the Volunteers Forum. So some of you may or may not know that for the last couple of years, BPCA has run a Volunteers Forum for not just the board members, but anyone who's on any of the committees. For 2 days, we all disappear off to a conference hall where we will then sort of like work in our committees, but also then the committees will break up and work with each other as well to try and get some real traction on making sure that the voice of the committees is truly heard by the staff team, and so and that then feeds back into the strategic direction. There was a webinar done by Jack Silberand from the MBU and APHA, which covered disease and biosecurity really well, and it's up on the members portal now if anyone wants to watch that back. On the policy front, HSE issued a new survey on the costs of complying with the BPR, and this links to the UK sanitary and phytosanitary agreement, which is going to come out mid-2027. BPCA and BPCA M&D members provided some information on behalf of that for the sector. I'll go into that in a bit more detail when we talk about mergers and buyouts, because it's not quite a merger, not quite a buyout, but it definitely is an adoption between UK and EU when it comes to some laws coming up. So it kind of sits there. There's also published our pest management take on the King's Speech. A few areas we're keeping an eye on, including, as we said before, UK-EU relations, which include biocides, some little bits and bobs in the King's Speech around late payment regulations and employment, and the Armed Forces Covenant is there, which we should all keep an eye on because they're all going to affect us in some way, shape or form. And then last 2 points, regional forums. Cardiff Regional Forum was just had. Really positive event, really well attended, plenty of new faces in the room. And the practical sessions have been going down a storm, with people staying right through to the end of the day just to have a go at some of the practical sessions, which were, I think, as you mentioned before, Sean, those were the ones where we had Darren building a pretend drain system on the floor and odds and sods like that. But also BBC Wales came along to the Cardiff event to meet members as part of a cockroach case study that they're working on, because apparently Cardiff is having somewhat of an issue with cockroaches, which would be interesting to hear from anyone in the comments if they've experienced anything like that. So BPCA helped connect a journalist with a range of professional pest controllers to talk about what's happening on the ground. Two last things. BPCA's got a big piece of work coming out over the next couple of weeks to celebrate World Pest Day, which is the 6th of June. So please keep your ears and eyes open for that. And then finally, we have the first BPCA debate webinar up on the 3rd of June. And it is debating subjects such as neophobia, Oh, hang on, I lost my notes now. It explores why some rodents avoid traps, and it will have people from the Crew Best Practice Working Group, Pest Train, and the Rodenticide Resistance Action Group. And then talking of webinars, Wednesday 10th, we've got the BPCA Digital Forum, which has got Alexia Naylor from the Bedbug Foundation and Emma Turnbull from the Bat Conservation Trust. And also one of my colleagues, a lovely guy called Jefferson from who's from South America, but now works out in Germany, who's going to talk all about Seclera flybait. And both of those last two are open to anybody. So just log on, have a look, have a listen, get involved.
I got a couple of things from Scott from the last one where he wanted to correct a couple of things I'd said, which I think it's all fair. He gets his fair crack of the whip in it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Scott said, in relation to BPCA crew, BPCA does not issue a crew certificate unless the person has achieved their full 20 requirements, 20 points. There have been cases where people have asked for a crew certificate but haven't got it because they haven't got the full CPD points, and in those cases, the certificate hasn't been issued. They get the crew certificate as soon as they meet the criteria, whereas the general BPCA registered one gets issued in bulk at the specific point in the year. However, what the email that came out in relation to that was about the 3 points. Said the reason, this is from someone from the BPCA, I can't remember the name. The reason we have separate certificates is because the suppliers don't need to know about the 20 CPD points for our membership criteria. They only need to see the crew CPD points, and that's all they need to know for you to purchase rodenticides. The certificates are for your records, but the crew certificate is more aimed at you showing your suppliers you have achieved your crew points and making it clear and easy for them to read and allow you to purchase rodenticides. That was from, that's from Niall. Is Niall's surname Fairbrother?
I believe so.
Was that a different Niall?
No, sorry. That's a different Niall. Sorry.
Right, yeah. But that just sets me off, because like that tells me there, if that is true, that they didn't go through the same system that we went through, that I was told that they would.
No, I mean, my understanding for that is you only get your CPE or crew CPD when you do all 20 points, but you get 2 certificates issued, one which is your BPCA certificate and one which is just a crew certificate. They both come out at the same time after you've achieved all of your points.
Listen, the membership to the crew approved scheme is 20 including 3. It's not 3, it's 20 including 3. That's the crew one. But their email says the reason we have separate certificates is because the suppliers don't need to know about the 20 CPD points for our membership criteria. It's not membership, it's crew that say that you need 20 including 3.
Yeah.
Not basis, not BPCA, not.
I think you're misconstruing them there, because I've got mine. I'm a BPCA member, and when at the beginning of the year, I'll get my congratulations, you are you've continued to be a BPCA member with that, and then I'll get my crew certificate on the side. But if I'm not a BPCA member, if I haven't hit the criteria, I don't get my crew certificate on the side of that.
But listen to what he's saying. The reason we have separate certificates is because the suppliers don't need to know about the 20 CPD points. Yes, they do.
Okay,
yes,
I think that's badly worded. They don't need to know about your membership to BPCA or the rest of it, or MPTA.
They only need to see the crew CPD points, and that's all they need to know for the purchase of rodenticides. That's not true.
I think that's badly worded, and I think we understand the tone of it from the first half of that message.
No, the certificates are for your records, but the crew certificate is more aimed at you showing suppliers you have achieved your crew points and making it clear and easy for them to read and allow you to purchase rodenticides.
Yeah. Well, look at this from another way. Maybe take that you are not a member of the BPCA or the MPTA. You're not a member of either trade association. How would that work then? You get your basis thing. Basis would give you just a thing saying, congratulations, you fulfilled your CPD quota for the year, wouldn't it?
No, you have to do 20, including 3.
Yes.
Whether you remember.
Yeah, but you wouldn't get
The 20, including 3, is nothing to do with being a member of an organisation. That is crew's specifications for what you have to do in order to be able to buy professional use rodenticides.
Yeah, okay. Let's put this another way, and I'm playing devil's advocate here. Let's say I, a BPCA member, did 20 CPD points, but I did not do my crew CPD points. I could technically be a BPCA member still, but I would not be a crew member. So with that, the confusion could be is if I turned around with my BPCA membership and say, I've got a BPCA membership, guys, and they'll be like, oh, right, so you've clearly got your 20, you've clearly got your 3 points. The reason they've separated the 2 certificates out is someone who is basically doesn't do any rodent work at all, and so doesn't need the crew points, just wants to go spray bed bugs, wants to go and use, wants to be a member of the BPCA, but doesn't want to use rodenticides, can't pass this ticket off to buy rodenticides. So they separate the 2 of them out, the same way as you've got an MPTA membership certificate.
Yeah. But that's not what the email says.
And then I think the email's worded badly. We understand what's going on. He's just written it shit.
No, I don't. That's not written it shit. They need 3 points in it. That's how it reads to me. That's exactly how. Anyways, that's by the by.
But it's not the case, though, is it? It's clearly not the case.
Yeah.
As in, that's not what's happening. He's written it. The email's been written badly. Obviously, in reality, people aren't being given just 3, their certificates for and not applying, not getting membership.
Or the thing inside me says that what's happening there is when someone joins part of the way through the year, they're getting it without the 20, including 3, aren't they? That's why.
I've no idea. I mean, I can't talk on behalf of that, but I think we are all guessing at that point.
I guess that's what happened. Anyways, yeah. And then the bees thing, he said, it's not BPC haven't stolen the slides, they haven't stolen Clive's content. The National Bee Unit is delivering this, not us. They reached out to us, in fact. I suspect John didn't know until he saw this year's webinar schedule. It's not Clive's content at all. In fact, I have no idea what's in the webinar as I haven't seen any of their slides yet. Nobody at the BPCA has. I'll get someone to reach out to Clive. I spoke to Clive. He's okay with us saying that. Again, I just feel like it was incredibly bad taste. Would I... Even if they did, I think when you turn up to your members training and then you use their suppliers, I don't think that's a good look for anyone. But that being said, I'll say the same thing I said last week. I don't think there's any malice in that. I think they just looked and thought, yeah, that's good content. We need good content for the members, and probably never realised for 1 second that it was probably going to cause a bit of upset. But I think everyone's now happy that it was just a sheer oversight, and that everyone's now in a relatively happy place with it. I hope they are anyways. I think. No, yeah.
No, I am. I mean, as far as I understand, someone from the MBU came and gave a talk. I have not seen it. I've not seen Clive's talk. I couldn't comment other than what I said last month.
You sound like a politician.
Well, what do you want me to say? Like, what do you want me to say? I haven't seen it. I'm not going to fucking speculate on something else.
It doesn't sound. It'd be all right as long as it doesn't sound like Keir Starmer. It's fine.
I know. Yeah. Let's not talk about him because I'm going to rage about him.
Next products.
So product news. I don't know much other than the fact I did a bit of a web search. It seems that, as with all things, it seems to be there's less and less physical solutions coming out and more technology solutions and biopesticides hitting the market. That seems to be the way that the markets are shifting at the moment and people are focusing, which is, I don't know, if you ask me, that's a sort of like that's a pushback, or not pushback, but a push from other industries. All other industries embrace AI, and pest managers, you too will embrace AI, without really thinking about, do we need it? Do we want it? It's good in some cases, but how smart do you need it to be at the end of the day? Well, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on this? You both use electronic reporting software. Are you integrating AI into it?
Well, I was just looking actually just before the podcast started about a lawyer was doing a free webinar on how AI could get you in severe trouble if you're not aware of various GDPR things, how you use it to write up contracts, writing up reports, the information that you're feeding into AI. And it doesn't, I wasn't worried, but then I suddenly thought, yeah, maybe there's something to watch for there. So maybe it's not as straightforward as everybody thinks.
I think I saw a bit of that, which was it was a court case brought against a doctor, wasn't it, who was using AI to help him write up his patient notes. And the case law went that because he had put confidential patient information into a web-based LLM, that information had disappeared off and it been stored on a server somewhere else, and could potentially be used by nefarious third parties to then target people for various medical conditions. But it is a bit of a concern. I mean, I know some of you guys will use it to write up your treatment reports and stuff, but technically you're putting that person's address in there, their history, issues that they may have had, even so far as site maps of that building and the rest of it. Now there are some AI models which are what you call ring fenced, which means that the data doesn't ever leave a very sort of like specific area of the ether, and it's not picked up by other AI models, and it's not stored in a mega server somewhere else. I know the ones that I use for my work are all what's called enterprise systems. You can toggle a button and it'll only talk to the AI within the main company. So you ask it a question, any data that it pulls from the company never gets taken outside. So it's a bit of a limited system, but it's much more secure. So yeah, keep an eye out for that, because there'll be someone will figure out how to screw the system up. I have no doubt. It's all
DeepSeek is the Chinese one, isn't it?
Yeah, but they all so there's a couple of them that literally will freely and openly talk to each other and lean off each other, because different LLMs are actually good at different things, and we only really are aware of the large language models. If you ask one of these language models to do something else, like create a picture, that's not really in their remit, so they might utilize another AI agent to do that. So every time you open, you upload a picture of yourself, make me look like a funny pest controller for my profile picture. Yeah, your image is off to be stored somewhere on some server to be used at a later date. And if you want to go really big brother about this, it could get really scary, couldn't it?
I did watch a podcast, a trigonometry podcast on AI, and that was, but that was more super intelligence, and that was quite scary. That one, actually, the progression from there, and there was a Russian guy on there. I think he was Russian, and I can't explain it because it was quite complicated. But if anybody's interested in AI, then watch that one, trigonometry. Will AI end the world? That was quite.
I've got two things to say to that, but quickly, do you want to cover this, Sean, or is this for me?
Go on, you shout it.
So Rupert Focus asks, what's LLM? LLM is basically, so there are, if you imagine AI at the moment developing in the same way that your brain develops, right? There are different AI constructs out there to do different things. There are those like Nana Banana, which are very visual orientated, and they can create that. There are others out there that deal with interacting with human beings, talking to us, presenting information to us in a way that we understand and can communicate with. And these are what are colloquially called the large language models. Hey, ChatGPT, hey, Copilot, hey, Gemini, tell me about the latest football results. Explain to me how nanoscaling works. How hot is the surface of the moon? 100 degrees. But roughly with that, sort of like, that's what an LLM is. And it's a conversational piece. There are other AI, I don't want to use the term agents, there are other AI entities out there which get more specific about much more sort of like specific tasks, like data management or sort of like data understanding. with that. So the ones that, that the MOD and the armed forces, not the armed forces, the US uses for prioritizing, high priority targets in active combat zones and stuff like that. That's the ones we got to be worried about. You don't have to worry necessarily about ChatGPT. It'll, never find you. Spell your name wrong 3 times in a row. But the other AIs, they're the ones that are going to end the world. But with that, if anyone wants a good read, an old read, Isaac Asimov's Robots. It's a lot of the books in that you will recognize just under different names. Many films have been made from them. I Am Legend was based on Isaac Asimov and the 3 Laws of Robotics. But if you read those books every single time, it's a compendium of short stories. So it's a book made up of lots and lots of little stories. And then with that, each of these stories starts off with the robot being the bad guy. Oh, there's a dead person. Oh, X, Y, and Z. And as the book goes on and it progresses, and each and every time, without fail, do you know who the person was that fucked everything up? Human beings, like every single time. And I think that's exactly what we're going to see here. We're going to create something. It's going to be a tool. Do you know ultimately who will be the architect of our destruction? Who's got 2 thumbs? It's going to be us. We're going to do it. Oh, well. Biopesticides, guys. What do you reckon about those? Jesus Christ.
Right, got a proper product now to announce, or not announce, but they've Loddy have redone the quartz insect dust, and instead of coming in a large bucket, it's coming in 10-gram sachets, so you'll get 30 sachets of 10 grams per bucket. Now, the idea, I believe, is that it will keep fresher and not get damp, because there was a lot of problems with it clogging the dusters. So that's a new product. I don't know how effective it is. We haven't used quartz, so from everything I can gather, it's no FICAM, but hey ho, let's not go down that route.
Let's not do that. It's azamethphos, which is organophosphate, which is in a couple of other Lodi products. And actually, it's a compound. It's not terribly bad. The big benefit of it, comparatively speaking, is much like carbamates, FICAM. There's no exciter repellency. So you paff it on a wasp, or you paff it on the entrance of wasp nest, and it's not going to instantly be like, and just, have a screaming belly. Yeah. But in terms of potency, it's not up there. Not saying it won't work. You get it in there, you got enough in there, you get a good hit on it, it'll work. But don't expect the same things from FICAM as you do from azamethphos. Just from that, but do expect the fact that it doesn't have an exciter repellency. So for the jobs where you've got a nest that's behind a right angle or up in a corner, it's going to work a lot better than your pyrethroids. On a direct hit, you're probably not going to do better than a pyrethroid anyway. They're very effective.
Fair enough. Another product a new product that's come out from Safety Screens. They've improved their roller screens. They do actually look quite good. So if anybody's in the market for roller screens, they're doing patio doors that roll back into a cassette now. Previously, from the first advent of roller screens, the first ones that they weren't Safety Screens ones, but the first ones that ever came out were shite. So hopefully they've improved quite considerably. And if anybody's in the market for some screens, then give Safety Screens a call and they'll send you a little brochure about how their new roller screens work and what you can fit them to.
Awesome.
And actually, there's not much more on the products this month, so it's been quite a quiet month. Sean's got his. Go on, Sean.
So me and Hugh have been talking about this for a while, and we both went out and bought a plod off the back of Darren Pierce's recommendation for writing up treatment reports. Game changer. writing up quotes, absolutely brilliant. And it's dead easy to not do GDP. You just don't say the customer's name in it. So you can just write up your notes, it'll timestamp them for you. You could talk about particular jobs, this report relates to a hospital, this report relates to a care home, this report relates to mice in the loft, and it'll label it up like that for you. Once you get it done, it's absolutely awesome. Really, really has helped me massively with writing up proposals and stuff like that. Just at the end, just run around and make your notes. Absolutely great. And I can see it being a massive part of our future.
Any good for shopping lists?
I don't do the shopping, do I? Well, actually, I made homemade pizzas, and I've had a go at making homemade pizza dough, and that's improved my pizzas no end. I'm getting not too bad with the pots and pans on the pizza and barbecue front. So, yeah.
Have you used it as a memo taker, though, just in case when you're driving along and say, remind me to do this and da-di-da-di-da?
No, I'll literally just switch it on for jobs. At the end of a job, I'll just run through the job, drain surveys, all that. You literally just walk around the house, start at one corner and walk around the house and make notes of what's going on. And when you get back, everything's remembered. It's brilliant. It's really, really good.
Cool. So that rounds up the products news, unless you've got anything else, Alex?
No, I just found a really interesting study that came out of, I think it was the States a little while back, where they're basically experimenting with putting caffeine into ant and cockroach gels, because you put the caffeine in there, and they do exactly that. They speed up. So of course you've got a workaround that goes, oh great, and then it runs back to the nest to tell its mates, and they all come back and they pick up the bait, and then they're like, wait, and they're supercharged, and they get back to the nest in half the time because they're all off their tiny tits on caffeine. I thought that was
Needs a hazelnut shot, doesn't it?
Yeah, that works quite well. Did I tell you about the
hazelnut latte?
Shut up. He's taking the mick out of me because I like a hazelnut latte. And if I remember on the phone to him and I order one, he calls us a soy boy and says I'm homosexual because I drink
hazelnut latte. That's a
South. I love them. I love hazelnut latte.
And they say us Southerners are bloody wet and soft. I don't know about you Northerners, bloody.
Yeah, but like if you were next to us, I'd throw it in your face in temper. That's the difference with us. Do you know what I mean?
There's nothing wrong with a good latte at all.
Exactly.
Morning.
Exactly.
Yeah. No. Then fine. If that's what it is, that's what it is. But there we go.
Industry news.
I don't know. So product news. No, buyouts and mergers.
Oh, buyouts. We're going to do buyouts next. I don't think there've been any, have there, that I've heard of? Sort of, that's sieged. I think, Sean, you had a call, didn't you?
Yeah, someone wanted to buy Kill Lane.
Yeah. I think that's slowed down a bit, hasn't it?
It was, but I can't even remember the guy's name, if I'm totally honest with you, because the week's been that hectic. Not because we're not interested, or I am interested. I just struggle to remember people's names now, yeah. So they're still going on. Yeah, right. Absolutely 110%.
Probably a lot more going on and behind the scenes than we don't know about.
Yeah. JG's started advertising in my area, which they've never done before. So I don't know what they've got going on up here, but they've obviously got something going on.
I found one on a bit of a search. So OCS acquires Abate Pest Management Services. Heard anything about that?
Yeah, Abate. Okay. Abate was who had Abate? I can't remember yet. OCS, yeah.
Yeah.
They're facilities management, aren't they? OCS. They're not necessarily just pest control, are they?
Yeah, they do cleaning and all sorts, don't they?
Yeah. So do you want my bit of an update on this phytotox thing? Oh, sorry. Sanitary and phytosanitary thing. Have you guys heard of this? It is something that's going to affect us. So basically, during Brexit, when we split away from the EU, not only do we split away from the EU in terms of movement, in terms of Brussels and the rest of it, but also our biocidal products directive, which was managed by ECHA. We pulled away from that. Yeah. In a minute. And it suddenly meant that if you wanted to register a product in the UK, you had to register it in the UK. And if you wanted to register a product in Europe, then you could do Europe all as one. And it used to be that the two would sort of like look to each other and, you know, share each other's work. But as soon as we split, EU said, you're not allowed to see our data. You know, even if you say, even if we say it's good, you're not allowed to see it. You must do your own thing. And if you do your own thing, we're not going to, you can do it to exactly the same standard. You can do the same test. You can do it to the same level. You can get the same results. We're not going to recognize it. And it meant that sort of like in Europe, if you have 5 companies who wants to all do one product each, you basically, each of those companies, a different member state picks up that project, and they all do it once. And if it takes a year to do a project, it means you get all 5 companies. It only takes a year to get that product through ECHA and into the system. But in the UK, you've got 5 companies with 5 products. Each one takes a year. You've got to do them one after another sequentially. Suddenly, it means that products are taking 5 times comparatively as long to get to market and costing more money. What this bit of legislation is doing, as DEFRA is pushing towards it, is they're bringing back in the mutual recognition between both parties. But it's only going to go one way. UK will recognise ECHA's decisions on like biocidal products, which will mean that it's easier for products to get to the UK, but also means that we will again be much more heavily influenced by how Europe does things. And so that's what's going on there at the moment. So could be good, easier to get products in, could be bad. If you lose those products from Europe, that sort of like mirroring may well occur in the UK. So again, it's going back to a sort of like one or the other. So happy days. Thoughts on that? Any thoughts on that at all?
I feel like we are absolutely still. I don't understand why we're tied to the EU, because I could imagine, say BASF, right? They produce a product in France and they have that data. If they can give that data to us, why are we worried about what the EU are doing? You look at it and you go, yes or no. Like, I don't understand why we're so tied into them. It's just ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous.
Because well, there's a host of reasons. There's such as, you know, most companies that operate in the UK are European countries, unless they are very, very small mum and pops type things. But almost all of the companies will have a European base. And with that, the decisions that are made financially will affect both. The UK is a very small economic player compared to the whole of Europe.
I get that, Al. But what I'm saying is, say Kill Line supplies a service in France. Like, when I come to the UK, it doesn't make a difference. You either buy it or you don't. You want it or you don't. So it's up to our government and our people to turn around and say yes or no to a product. That was the whole thing about Brexit, wasn't it? So if they can present that data to the EU, and I've got no doubt that Syngenta, BASF and all them, if you turn around and went, give us that data and we'll say yes or no quickly, and you'll get your product to market faster, they would absolutely, if they've got it, it's a no-brainer. They wouldn't go, oh, I'm sorry, we're European, we're not going to give you it, you've got to do it again, and They would just go, there you go, there's the data. BASF owns that data, Syngenta owns that data. It's not owned by Europe, is it? It's owned by the private company. So why doesn't the private company just give it to us, and why don't we go, yeah, that looks pretty good?
Well, that's what happens, but they still have to review the data, which costs money, which takes time.
Right. So you're saying it's literally the fact that our country can't get its arse into gear to look at the data?
No, it's the fact that in Europe you can, there's, you know, let's just say 10 countries will look at 10 data packs, and they'll do so simultaneously. Each country has its own equivalent of HSE, and each one of those can read through that data pack, and it takes them a year to get through it, and that's fine. In the UK, there's only HSE. So those 10 data packs are all done by HSE, which means that by definition, it takes that much longer. And HSE isn't going to just turn around and say, well, what they want to do is say, oh yeah, Finland or Spain or Italy gave this a good big green go ahead. They've got to do their due diligence. They still have to read through the pack. They still have to read through the data. That still takes time because it's not mutually recognized. And so that's what it is.
Next. Pest Awards deadline has been extended again. So
How many
anybody
times now?
A couple. I wonder do we think that's because
No one's
maybe
applying.
there's not the interest. I don't know. Don't know about that. Rentokil has reported a 10% increase in rodents activity since 2024. Can't say that I've noticed it. Anybody listening noticed an increase specifically? Would we notice a 10% increase? What do you think, Alex?
I reckon there's been, I don't know, year-on-year trends. There's more food, there's more waste. We have a higher urban population density. We have a higher, population density, full stop. I'd say the number of pests would match that increase in people spreading out, because you think there's more homes and buildings and developments being built all the time. They're all going to have their own pest issues. Yeah, I'd say it's not unreasonable. 10% is not a huge number over 2 years. Let's be honest. It's not pandemic levels at that point, is it?
No.
It definitely is something.
Gonna head over to the foreign climes a moment and talk about the escar ban in New York.
Okay.
So there is a move under the Raptors Act to ban second generation anticoagulants in New York, or not put a severe restrictions on them. I'm not saying this is 100% correct, but I believe what happened was that the beloved owl that was in the New York Zoo got out and got splat by a car. Ooh. They did an autopsy on it and found traces of anticoagulant rodenticide in it, and that snowballed into the Raptors Act, and is going to could potentially have a massive effect on the rodent populations in New York. And our man abroad, Andy Sinevsky, has written to the government over there and not protested, but drawn their attention to the fact that this will overly affect poorer areas of the city, because they won't be able to afford the more expensive trapping programs, because they won't be able to use rodenticides. So it will be an unfair disadvantage on the poorer parts of New York.
Yeah, there's always a massive, and this is going back to the socioeconomic impacts of allowing the general public to have access to rodenticides and pest control tools, which is, if you take them away, it disproportionately affects people of low socioeconomic standing, who are going to be having the problems anyway. And that means those problems multiply, they get worse, people overlook them, and suddenly it's not just one person's problem, it's a whole street's problem. And then that becomes a genuine public health concern. And that is the fear of that. But the weird thing is this is not the only place around the world that's seen this recently. Australia has also.
Yeah, I've got that next.
Go for it, Bernie.
No, carry on. No, it's fine. You carry on.
You're better prepared than I have, because I've just got cliff notes.
No, I've just got.
Fair enough.
It was just the fact that it is coming in in Australia. So
not coming, already come.
on.
Literally, the government turned around and said there is a 1-year moratorium on using escars for the general public, and even then there are some limitations being placed on professionals as well. All in all, it's made it a very complicated and irksome. So they're not banned over in Australia, but their use patterns and the people who can use them have been severely sort of like impacted, and it's led to a lot of confusion. It's led to a lot of sort of upset, and not to mention the fact that the decision was talked about and discussed, and then the decision was made, and the implementation was 2 weeks after the decision being made. Here is the decision. You have 2 weeks to basically get stock off the shelves, and then that's it. So,
and then the mouse plague hits.
Well, there's already a mouse plague there. There is a mouse plague going on at the moment. So it would be really interesting to see how that's managed. I mean, it's not a ban on rodenticides out there. It's simply just a ban on escar. So there are alternatives for them to use from the non-anticoagulant camps, left, right, and centre. That being said, it's going to be a really interesting case study, especially for us, because what happens if it works? What happens if, a year from now, they are doing very well? The mouse plague hasn't eaten all of their cheese. They're doing absolutely fine and dandy. Thank you very much. What do you reckon the rest of the world's going to do, having a look at that?
Well, we'll come on to something else that's being used in a different country, not so far away from Australia, in a minute.
New Zealand?
Yes.
What are you going to say?
We'll get round to that one.
Does it begin with N?
No, it begins with P.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Pap.
Pneumatic airgun trebuchets.
Oh, anyway, shall we get
PP in it? Pap.
Yeah. So we're going to go on to the quick one now. Crew has released its 2025 report.
Yeah. Have you given it a read yet?
I've got a summary. I didn't have time to read it because it literally I saw it come out like today.
Yeah,
so
same.
I don't think it really said too much, really, did it? It was a bit like the biggest thing for us, or for me, is that the L128Q resistance mutation has been found within 10 miles of my house, which is the furthest southwest that it's apparently that it's ever, or furthest southerly direction that it's ever been. It was picked up in a town called Langport, which is near Taunton. So very close by. Overall, they seem to think things are going in the right direction. It doesn't really say too much. Just points out that there is the full removal of open area used for bromadiolone and difenacoum, tied to point of sale auditing, which we all know about, increased resistance across the UK, and major push towards ongoing professional development. But not much else other than that, really, I don't think, unless you've got anything, Alex. I didn't really get too much chance to read through it.
No, just some cliff notes from here. So of the safe use, or the level 2 safe use, or however you want to call it, from August 2024 to July 2025, 4,439 new certificates.
Oh, yes.
Which means that since the start of the scheme, there's been 49,457 tickets issued for that, which is interesting. Yeah. Because at the last estimate, there is between 8 and 10,000 pest managers in the UK, which means that of that, and most of those pest managers would not have to take their safe use rodenticides because they would have already had their level 2 award or greater. So with that, either people have been doing it for their CPD, but that only accounts for sort of like 20% of that. That is a lot of certificates.
40,000. 40,000 nearly.
40,000, yeah. It just goes to show
that is exactly why Crew is the way it is. because we are not the big buyer of rodenticide in it. That is what I've said all along. And that's exactly why it is.
How do you mean?
Well,
it's there to keep people buying it, isn't it? Like, listen, I want to keep rodenticides in my toolkit. I'm not suggesting we don't. What I'm saying is, when they say, "Oh, this is for this," and we're looking at whatever, it's not. It's so that they can keep supplying to the others. And it's 190,000 farms in this country.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's a quarter. Then that's nearly a quarter that have done their safe use certificate, isn't it?
And that's going to go up, isn't it? Because now the grandfather rights thing is gone.
Yeah, well, the grandfather thing, right, went at the end of the year. What I said, like, I've spoken to a lot of trainers who do training for, left, right, and centre, for pest management and for the rural sectors as well, and they've all been a bit confused. They've done a lot of sort of like training for the rural sector, but not as much as they would have thought. So it's obviously all going through things like Lantra. And here's the interesting thing: Lantra safe use. Have you seen the Lantra safe use examination? It's open book.
There you go. It's all you need to know, isn't it?
How could you fail?
It's all you need to know.
So what?
I wonder if it will be like we're just about probably using what the farmers are probably, or other users, should we say, are probably just about getting through their last few buckets of bait that they've bought.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, and as this winter hits, they'll suddenly start realizing, because we did actually have a call from a chicken farm the other day, and the guy was like, oh, I need to do my ticket, and you know what, I can't really be bothered, and I'm wondering whether it would be easier to get you guys in and do it. And I don't know. He might change his mind when he gets the price, but it's obviously starting to maybe mill through. I don't know if anybody that's listening has started getting any calls more where people have said, "Oh, I don't want to do my ticket," as it were.
From my perspective, so I've got my other sort of like little offices up on a farm, so I spend a lot of time speaking to the farmers and hanging around there and sort of like chatting to those. Most precious commodity for these guys is not necessarily the money. A lot of these guys are, I wouldn't say wealthy, but there's a lot of money tied up in these estates. There's definitely, none of them are broke. Let's put it that way. Certainly when you're not driving around in a £250,000 combine harvester. But the biggest commodity to them is time. Like the amount of things that they are having to do these days, even arable farmers, well, especially arable farmers, the time that they spend having to do these things, and then sort of like having their grain downgraded from, class A to class whatever it is, because it's full of rat shit on it and it gets turned away from the millers. Yes, farmers quote how much, to which point make the value proposition less about money and more about the things that are important to them. You don't have to do this anymore. It's less stress. You don't have to worry about your compliance. We'll make sure that you get through your vermin section, your red tractor. Never have to worry about that one again. They're always going to haggle about price because these guys are tighter than a crab's arse in a hurricane. But what they do need is time to do these things. They want to be out doing other things. They don't want to be marching around the site. So talk to them about that. Find something that they need and then sell them that. At a reasonable price. Simple
Next, obviously Natalie Bungay's gone back to the BPCA, and congratulations to Sean. Going to announce it.
Yeah, my good friend Malcolm has taken on not just the technical role, but the operations director. So he's taken on a lot more than just technical. He's a Pest Force franchisee.
So it went to an internal hire then, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Went to he's a Pest Force franchisee. He has two franchises, I think, up in the northeast, and really, really loves it. I think he'll be great in his job. He knows what he's doing. He's He's dealing with the types of jobs that these franchisees are going to be dealing with on a day-to-day basis. I hope the other franchisees get behind him, and I might be speaking out of turn here. I don't know, but I can imagine there being not sour grapes, but why are you my technical director and da da da. But I'm sure he'll move into that role with absolute ease. I think he's easy to talk to. He's a nice guy. He's got everything going for him. There's no reason why he won't succeed there, and I really, really look forward to seeing him doing well there. I think he'll do phenomenally well. Probably an interesting guest after he's been there a while. See if he can manage to do the whole lot in a one, which is going to be a tall order, I think. But to be fair, if anyone can do it, he can, because he is a workaholic. Like, he's a 24/7 man. So I don't think it's out of his grasp. Be very, very interesting to see how he gets on.
Going to quickly run through and quickly skip over this because it's not my favourite subject. Asian hornets. There's been 4 further credible sightings, reports of Asian hornets, all in Kent. Animal Plant Agency informed us that they had received 1 further report in Maidstone. They're all being sent off. So that's it. 3rd of May, 1st of May, 30th of April, 4th of May, and 17th of May. So that was skipped over very quickly because...
Here's a question for you, Hugh. If Asian hornets didn't eat bees, right? If they didn't eat bees and they ate pollinators and moths and all that, and you just looked at them as a big wasp, would you have the same apathy towards them, or would they be quite interesting for you as a revenue stream?
I haven't got. Well,
wouldn't they just be the European hornet at that point?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. He hates them. He hates talking about them. But is it simply because of the link to honeybees? Or like, because
2 in 1.
Aren't they?
Stop it. Right, next code check. Right.
No, I want to hear this as well.
No. Next. We talked about Asian hornets.
Why
We're talking about stoats next, not honeybees.
No, exactly.
Stoats.
Now for something totally different.
Stoats. Stoats. So, stoats. They have now spread from mainland Orkney to the Outer Isles. They've described a sighting in, I can't see, Rousey last week. They've spent £15 million on the stoat eradication scheme since 2019. The team have trapped 8,000 so far. And this is an unsettling development, apparently. They stated, we always knew there was a high risk of stoats travelling to more islands, and they are quite amazed that it's taken until now to do so. But on the same hand, in New Zealand...
Hang on. So before we move on to New Zealand, very quickly, £15 million spent on eradicating stoats from these islands, 8,000 stoats caught, very quickly typed in there. Do you know how much? That is £1,875 per stoat. I would do that. That's ridiculous. Like, literally, if you paid me £15 million, I wouldn't set traps on it. I would literally march through there, some like bog monster, fucking camoed up with a big stick for $2,000 a stoat. You wouldn't.
$2 million a year.
2 million. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to stop me flailing through the bushes like an absolute lunatic.
Do you know what I love about him? Tell you what I love about it more than anything. They proudly tell everyone that since they've started trapping stoats, that the numbers of hen harriers, I think it's short or long-eared owls, and the Orkney vole, which is only found there, have increased like massively, and it's helped biodiversity. whilst they shout at gamekeepers for trapping stoats. The hypocrisy of it is absolutely phenomenal. You know, I just think, oh, whatever. Like, fucking knock yourself out. Yeah.
It is.
Well-
How do you tell the difference between a weasel and a stoat? One's
So-
easily recognizable and the other's totally different.
Did they build rafts? They did say that there was a chance that it had swam, a chance that it had been taken over by someone inadvertently, and
On a
chance
boat,
that it had been
an
introduced
inflatable
on
dinghy
purpose.
going in the wrong direction.
So we've all seen The Life of Pi, right? That film where that kid stuck on a life raft with a tiger.
Tiger.
Could you imagine that channel crossing, you know, all those people and this savage little fucking mustelid just running from one end of their inflatable to the other? People were like, fuck this. What the fuck? You know, it's funny, he pulls up on the shore. There's just one haggard looking individual on there. What happened? The stoat man. The stoat. What do you mean the stoat? Fucking off.
Gives a whole new meaning to death by 1,000 cuts, doesn't it?
Oh, God. They're vicious little bastards, though.
So,
Like,
and in New Zealand, they have decided that they wish to wipe out the stoats. So rather than spend £15 million on it or whatever, or trap them, what they are going to do is they have been making pap sausages. Pap is something called para amino propionethanol.
hang on.
Doesn't sound very nice, does it? It's a extreme toxicant for vertebrate control. It's supposed to be safer than strychnine and 1080, but it is extremely toxic to dogs. But what they thought was they're just going to bomb the chuff out of the countryside with these little poison sausages. And you sort of think,
Couldn't get
well,
it to be stable, could they? They've tried it before, I believe, and they couldn't get it to be stable. So they've done a lot more work on it, and now they've got it stable in a sausage-type formula. And they're dropping like one sausage per however many hectares or a part of a hectare, and
yeah,
they reckon that the stored activity in them areas has just dropped to zero since they started dropping these little
I mean,
these little sausage
it
bombs.
reduces the blood's ability to be able to absorb oxygen.
yeah. So, I mean,
And-
sorry, so some context here. What they're doing in New Zealand is called Predator 3 2050. So with this, when you think, what about all of the other animals that they might be killing? In this program, they're just like, there is no bycatch. If it is a predator, if it will eat a sausage, done.
It goes. It dies.
It dies.
No
yeah.
fucking. So anyway, apparently the only antidote for it is methylene blue, which is quite a controversial, in a way, substance that some people in America take on a regular microdose on a regular basis, don't they? So yeah, it's also a dye that's been around for quite a long time.
I was about to say, I've got some. It's a regular stain. I didn't realize you could use it for other purposes. Hang on, what's this? You can get high off it, can you?
No, you
Says-
can't. No, it's supposed to have some medicinal purposes for various different ailments, and it's been used for quite a long time. But it is a dye, and it turns your skin blue, and it turns your tongue blue as well.
Generally speaking, I use it to dye cells. To do that. Okay.
And of course,
Could we not get that for rats if it's protein based over here? Could you not do that through BASF and get like a little?
It would never ever pass the risk assessment. There's no so three things with that. I'm just having a quick look at it at the moment. Number one, it looks as though the way the animals die is not particularly
nice.
animal goes unconscious and dies relatively quickly. Okay, no, fine, fair enough. So the thing is, we have a big laws against things that can't go into convulsions and they can't sort of like suffer unduly before they die. But this isn't that actually looks as though it lowers the blood's ability to carry oxygen. So yeah, they basically become hypoxic and die. Okay, that's fine. But it's an acute. Acutes are quite difficult to market and use. They usually require a lot of pre-baiting, or they either have to be in at very, very high doses. And what was the other thing with that? Yeah, it's just because it is so broad spectrum with no antidote. It just looks as though it would be quite a risky thing.
How about trying to get a hold of the formulation and just putting calciferol on top of it? So, because it's the
sausage.
The sausage stuff. That's interesting, isn't it?
The sausage bit is interesting. Yeah, the problem with the sausage thing is because they are using actual meat. You wouldn't be able. You'd have to buy it chilled,
fresh.
Like it would be very difficult to kind of like
fresh bait.
It would be very.
My apologies, I'm an idiot. I didn't realize it was fresh meat that they were using. I thought it was like some substitute that they're picking up, protein-based substitute.
Whilst we're abroad, I suppose we didn't cover the hantavirus thing, did we, last?
Oh God, no! That's probably a good thing to sort of like.
So I think we ought to. Yeah, I think that ought to come up, don't you?
Yeah. So, what do you guys think of this? First off, what do you think about that absolute pillock who got off the boat and went for a pint in a pub in a Spanish port? Like, what the? I mean, who does that?
Stuart Blair would do that. Stuart Blair would definitely do that.
I could have a wildly communicable disease. Let's walk into
We're going to spread the next pandemic.
Yeah, I am patient zero. Books written about.
I seen Dr. Matt talking about it. He done a thing where he looked like he was had someone behind the camera with a gun, stuck him up, didn't he?
Do you know what he looked like? Do you remember the print? What Charles, the dummy, the ventriloquist dummy, Lord Charles was sat there with a monocle on.
I thought you were going to say the one out of that kid's, what's he called? The mad one out of when you read the book and the animals come, then the monsters come. What's that called? Alex, help us out.
Monsters Inc.
No. It's
Chucky.
It's not Stranger Things. It's the other one. There was a big. As soon as I say it, you'll go, oh, yeah.
You need to describe
anyway.
I tell you who was in it. Jack Black was in it.
Oh. Not Kid Rock. School of Rock.
No.
Is not what they're talking about. Is it comedy? Goosebumps. Right. Okay.
And there was a little. What was the thing he called in it?
I don't know. I don't think I've seen this one. This is why I'm struggling with it.
Mate. I was watching Muffin the Mule. Not Goosebumps. You're going too
Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Man.
Yeah.
Slappy. No,
not got a clue. Anyway,
Hantavirus.
Yeah.
So, first things first. There's two types of hantavirus, so there's a couple of different strains. But there's an Asian version, and there is a I don't know where the other one's from, somewhere else. But one results in what's called hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, and the other one is hemorrhagic fever with renal syndrome. Neither of them are particularly good news, but one of them is slightly more virulent and more prone to killing you. I believe that this was the
Andres virus, wasn't it?
Yeah. So
strain.
Still not good. And
not good.
The big worry with it is it's got a very long lead time to it. So sort of like it will sit in a body, churning away, doing its thing, asymptomatic up until the point that you become wildly symptomatic, followed by either all right or dead. And then it keeps moving on. So this is, I think, why people are a bit worried. But rodents act as asymptomatic carriers of it. So yeah.
But it was more
through rodents, Al. Or can I spread it to you?
I believe that there are some variants of it that will become sort of, I'm trying to think of the word now, but they will become why can't I think of the terminology? Yes, basically, yes, you can spread it from person to person. It's much, much harder, but it can occur, especially when you start to get damage to the lung tissue and the coughing, and then it becomes,
Aerosol.
Thank you. Yeah.
Aerosolized. But the thing was, it's not something that rodents in the UK carry, is it? It's something that particular particular strain is a different strain that's carried by rodents abroad. And what they're saying is even if it was over here, it's a lot less likely to be spread because of the damp atmosphere. What tends to happen in America and places like that have outbreaks of hantavirus is the deer mice, isn't it? In America, they go into the barns that are dry over the winter, go into the barns, they drop the sand and everything, and dust dries out. Of course, the farmer opens the barn up, kicks everything up, and all the droppings and everything get aerosolized into the air, and they breathe it in. So whereas the dampness will keep it down. We haven't really had any cases of that particular strain of hantavirus over here, although we have had 2 or 3 cases of a different strain of hantavirus in the UK.
So it says no UK acquired deaths from hantavirus have been recorded. However, in May 2026, 2 Britons were among the cluster of confirmed cases linked to a severe outbreak on the MV Honduras cruise ship. UK impact. While UK nationals were infected during the outbreak and required specialised medical care and repatriation, the UK itself has seen 0 locally acquired deaths, which leaves you with a couple of questions, doesn't it? Like when they brought them back, I wonder if they let them use the toilet or whether it was bagged up as hazardous waste. What would happen there, Al?
Oh, probably if you're in a little quarantine centre, have its own internal, it will go to a septic tank, which will then probably be bleached within an inch of its life or something like that. Most of these quarantine facilities will treat everything that goes out of a human being as some kind of contaminated waste, one would hope.
I wonder if we would have an immunity to it then, because I seen that thing that Dr. Matt did, and he said that in Pest Tech in like 2012 or whenever it was, they swabbed all the techs who were there, and they found something ridiculous, like 70% of them had the antibodies for hantavirus.
So
I can't remember exactly, I'm sure I've got them wrong, but it's something ridiculous.
Webster and McDonald did a study in the 90s where they basically dug up an entire rodent burrow on a farm, and they sent every sort of like rat that they monoxide off for pathology. Now, amongst all of the other diseases there, and they're finding sort of like, I can't go through, I've got a whole list here, but basically it's like a full A4 page list. But one of the diseases on this that came out of this pathology was hantavirus. 5% of the rats found on this farm in southeast England contained hantavirus in the 90s, which they thought before that was something, that you just found out in Southeast Asia, never before. And the thing is it's been reservoiring in rodents in the UK for at least 30 years, probably a lot longer than that. So yeah, you're probably right. There probably is some low-level exposure that people have had to it, resulting in, a live vaccination of...
We've been microdosing it.
We've been microdosing, as a lot of things. It's like, at the end of the day, it's one more reason to wear your gloves when you're checking your bait boxes, isn't it? Let's be fair.
I see.
And if you really want to give your immune system a bit of a test, you basically just lick the inside of the lid. Just really give it a go. You're putting your hand up there, Sean.
Yeah, I absolutely need to take back what I said. I'm an idiot and I wasn't listening correctly.
Okay.
So Pest Tech 2013, they didn't take swabs, they took blood samples, and almost 3% of the people who were surprised blood showed positive for the antibodies for hantavirus.
So again,
Yeah.
and that actually, that weirdly enough, that
70,
falls,
not
not 70,
70%.
but 3%. That does fall neatly in line, doesn't it, with the 5% they found out on the farms, doesn't it, in terms of exposure? So that's quite interesting. And the weird thing is I wonder if pest controllers show a higher level of antibody response than members of the general public. Just as a result of that. The other interesting one that Killgem did yonks ago is they took flies from EFKs in hospitals, if you heard about this, and they found that an alarming number of the flies, I think it was something like maybe 14%, I'll have to check it now, but still, more than zero, an alarming number of the flies pulled off these EFKs were carrying MSRA. So basically, these flies were flying up and down the corridors of hospitals, landing on infected wounds or infected patients, picking up, totally antibiotic-resistant bacteria on their feet and in their guts, and then, not on their guts, just on their feet, on their sort of like scales, and then flying to ostensibly a clean ward where people have just come out of major surgery, landing on the wounds and spreading, super resistant necrotizing bacteria all up and down the place. I mean, how scary is that? And the really scary thing is they were finding, they extended the study outside of the hospital, and they were finding lower numbers, but still non-zero numbers of, these bacteria carrying flies in EFKs in shops and schools and places some considerable distance away from the hospitals.
Was that Killgem did that? I'd be interested in having that.
Yeah. Oh, this is yeah. Have a look.
Don't matter how old it is.
Oh, it's an old bit of research. Like this is
Yeah,
why
but it's still relevant, isn't it? Especially with the increase of MSRA. It's been quite.
I'm so glad that it has an easy to pronounce acronym, because if micrococcal resistant why
Staphylococci.
yeah, strep throat basically.
Strep.
Yeah.
Staph and strep.
It is that. It's really weird.
Yeah.
The same thing that gives you strep, like kissing disease, mono. If it's not in your throat, if it gets into any other part of your body, just wildly fucks you up.
It's going to eat you like Ebola.
Yeah.
Can you? Well, there's been a fresh Ebola outbreak, hasn't there?
There has.
Yeah.
And they burnt down the hospital.
Really?
What, to get rid of it?
No, because they believe that. So they've got a very strict protocol of burying the bodies and disposing them in correct manner. But the locals don't like that. They like to have the bodies back and their tradition buried in a traditional way. And because they wouldn't release the bodies, they burnt the hospital down.
Fucking hell.
That's one way to make a point, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, I heard as well, and I'm not sure how true this is, I'm just looking it up, but the Ebola virus, when it is, so you can survive Ebola, you don't turn into a twinge, but the virus can lay then dormant in certain tissues within your body. So it can be in the vitreal fluid within your eyes, but also, apparently, it can live hiding away in your testicles. And so at some point, you could reactivate, catch Ebola, and literally become yes.
So when you teabag somebody, there's a
teabagging.
High risk of passing Ebola on.
Yeah, that's it, guys. Don't teabag people.
I did actually pose the question to ChatGPT whether the Ebola could actually jump into being an airborne virus, and the chance is about 0 apparently.
I don't know who Maggie Holt is, but that's impressive. You must have ChatGPT that. Please tell us you have, because if you can spell that, you're a legend.
You can see I was having problems bloody sounding it out. Methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus.
Staphylococcus aureus. To be fair, I thought that was the lights that you see every now and again over the East Coast, but obviously not.
It's what happens when you stand up too fast. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I
On
just
that
have
note,
I just have searched this, by the way. Ebola can persist in the testes and semen after recovery. So there you go.
lovely. What a
Sick.
note to end it
I
on.
bet your Bonnie Blue's got the got the antibodies for that, then, aren't you?
Oh. I mean,
Aw.
that's definitely one way to end the podcast, isn't it?
It is.
Hey guys, please join us again next week for more. Actually, who do we have next week?
Next week we have Francisco Paxos from Chinchaks talking about silica dioxide, isn't it?
You know, we talked about new products out there. You know what we definitely didn't mention?
I was saving it.
Okay. Well, next week we'll have an extended edition. Right. Sounds good to me.
Cheers, everybody. Take
Bye,
care.
bye, bye.
Thank you for listening to the Beauties and Beasties podcast.